responded to a possible armed robbery. They were arresting a young man when they say a student from Academy for College and Career Exploration came up and started recording. Police say the student put the cell phone very close to the face of one of the officers. The officer says he felt threatened, so officers arrested that student as well. Local lawmakers now wanting to speak at that school about the arrest, which some people are calling overly aggressive.
Rather than having folks take things into their own hands, have an opportunity for people who don't always feel like their concerns are heard, to have them be heard directly by the school, by the police, by, their members of city council, kind of bring everybody together.
Baltimore police are conducting an internal review onto whether the officer did, in fact, use excessive force in that arrest. 6:08 right now. Crime in Baltimore is one of the big issues that the Maryland General Assembly is going to be looking at as the session gets underway this year. Lawmakers say crime is becoming a bigger problem every year. They say it's not just a problem in Baltimore City, but all over the state. Delegate Nick Kipke says putting forth crime bills is at the top of his to-do list. Senate President Mike Miller has announced that Johns Hopkins University, the bill that would allow it to build its own police force, will go forward, along with some other issues about crime on campus and city police.
We're going to allow Hopkins, just like Morgan, to have their own police force. Morgan University around the corner has its own police force. Hopkins has 3 campuses in Baltimore City. It is the lifeblood of that side of Baltimore City. It's economic development, and they need police protection.
Senate President Miller was using a cane as the session opened yesterday. He said he's going to make a major announcement about his health later this morning. 6:09 right now. The rate hike proposed by Baltimore City is going forward. The Baltimore City Board of Estimates has approved a 30% increase in what residents pay for water. It's a rate hike that will be phased in over the next 3 years, starting this summer. The Department of Public Works says the extra money will go toward updating the city's crumbling infrastructure. At the Board of Estimates meeting yesterday, members also approved a program that's called H2O Assists to help families who need help paying their water bills. 6:09 right now. Let's send it to Chief Meteorologist Annette Charles.
All right, Christian, we'll start you out with the temperature change out there this morning. So cold fronts move through and we are feeling the effects of that. It's quite blustery out there as well. We're about 14 degrees colder this morning when compared to yesterday at this time. At the Inner Harbor, Columbia, Thurmont, it's 16 degrees colder in Middle River this morning and 13s in Annapolis and also Stevensville. The temperatures coming in right around 29 at the Inner Harbor, 30 in Middle River, 30 in Chestertown. These temperatures would be actually a little bit above average if we just had the temperatures. But since we do have the winds sustained now, look at Thurmont out of the northwest at about 31 mile an hour sustained wind there. We'll have gusts today up to about 45, 50 miles an hour, making it feel like 10 degrees in Thurmont this morning. It feels like 16 at the Inner Harbor and also Easton. Satellite and radar not picking up on a whole lot right now. Still not going to rule out maybe a couple of flurries around Hagerstown this morning, trying to move across the area. Let's go to check the traffic now with Lauren.
Thanks, Lynette. If you're traveling in Baltimore County, I've been following a crash in Parkville. It has just cleared from Cedar Hill Road between Proctor Lane and Cromwell Bridge Road. New troubles, though, in the area. An accident just reported on Perring Parkway at Oakley Road. Here is the speed check into downtown Baltimore. 83 is in the green, 95 also clear from Harford County and Howard County into this city, but slowing speed. Southbound 895, 31 miles per hour at O'Donnell Street. Drive times show an 8-minute commute from Pulaski Highway to the Harbor Tunnel Toll Plaza. The delays all due to the long-term construction in the area. 695 clear, no problems on 70. There is a wind warning issued for the Bay Bridge, so use caution crossing.
Okay, Lauren, thanks very much. It is 6:11 right now. Negotiations to end the partial shutdown of the federal government do not appear to be going well. The shutdown now just a few days from becoming the longest in history. Maryland, one of the states most affected by the shutdown. Local groups are trying to do what they can to help families who need it, but they worry it could stretch the resources too far. And more women are coming forward claiming they were sexually abused by R. Kelly. Growing fallout after the explosive new documentary on the Lifetime network surviving R. Kelly. More on those stories when we continue with Good Morning Maryland. Welcome back into Good Morning Maryland. 6:14 right now. Some top stories for you this morning. There's new developments in the case involving singer-songwriter R. Kelly. Police are now asking more women who may have been sexually abused by R. Kelly to come forward. There is a documentary series called Surviving R. Kelly that premiered on the Lifetime Network last week. It is explosive. It details allegations of long-term abuse by the singer. Several women claiming they had sexual relations with R. Kelly when they were just teenagers, some of them young teenagers. One man even claims R. Kelly holding his daughter against her will. Authorities say they need to know whether there are any more victims out there.
This isn't one of those situations where it's just forensics. We need actual witnesses and victims to have the courage to tell their stories.
The documentary also talks with people who protected R. Kelly over the years. His lawyers have denied every claim that has been made in that series. 6:15 right now. January is National Stalking Month, and the House of Ruth, Maryland, pointing out that some warning signs that are out there that you might be a victim. This is an issue that both men and women, young and old, can experience.
Just an everyday person may be experiencing a number of unwanted calls, maybe an excessive amount of text messages. It's not unusual for people to get several hundred text messages, particularly young people. But what you may find is that getting 100 text messages in the span of 10 minutes, that's a bit excessive.
Yes, she also says that you should be aware of abusive partners showing up at unwanted times or making slandering posts on social media. More information about how to contact House of Ruth, by the way, on the website right now, WMAR2news.com. 6:16 today is day 20 of the partial shutdown of the federal government, which is now starting to look like it could last much longer. The president walked out of a meeting with congressional leaders after they said they would not provide funding for the wall he once built along the border with Mexico. Today, the president is heading to the border. ABC's Serena Marshall has that story this morning.
It was a mere 14-minute meeting, and his conclusion couldn't be clearer.
He asked Speaker Pelosi, will you agree to my wall? She said no. And he just got up and said, then we have nothing to discuss, and he just walked out.
They demanded once again that before any negotiations could begin, that we would have to agree to reopen the government.
The shutdown stretching into one of the longest ever. Come Friday, federal workers face the reality of not receiving a paycheck. The president insists they still support him.
A lot of them agree with what I'm doing.
Democrats say otherwise.
And what that means in their lives is tragic in terms of their credit rating, paying their mortgage, paying their rent. He thinks maybe they could just ask their father for more money, but they can't.
85% of the federal workplace exists outside of the capital region, from airline security to prison guards and food inspectors. The government sending a letter to members of the U.S. Coast Guard, according to the Washington Post, suggesting they supplement their income with garage sales, babysitting or dog walking, even mystery shopping. A possible end to the stalemate, these 5 moderate Republicans meeting behind closed doors for more than 90 minutes.
To see if we can't offer up some helpful suggestions.
Hoping to find a solution that can bring everyone together.
Some agencies beginning to bring back employees to work unpaid. The director of the FDA recalling domestic food inspectors suspended since the start of the shutdown. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
And as the shutdown drags on, there are federal workers who could wind up facing some tough choices about paying their bills. The Maryland Food Bank's trying to get ready. They have anticipated increased demand as they seek to potentially help families. The nonprofit already provides about 100,000 free meals every day. But if the partial shutdown carries on much longer, there's no guarantee the program is going to be able to meet this increasing need.
The magnitude of the problem is growing exponentially. And the reality is we do not have the physical resources, dollar-wise, access to food, however you want to describe it, to be able to truly fill that entire gap.
So the United States Department of Agriculture, which is also partially shut down, announced there is money to fund SNAP benefits through February and reduced or free school lunches through March. But after that, there's no guarantees about what's going to happen going forward. 6:19 right now. Let's send it to Chief Meteorologist Annette Charles for that windy forecast.
All right, Christian. Yeah, you said it. It is blustery out there for today. We will have gusts up to about 45, 50 miles an hour as the day goes on. The morning time frame is the worst of it. And then as we go into the afternoon, they'll start to die down a bit. Now, so when I say die down a bit, that means that we're not necessarily going to still be at the 45 range, the 48 range, maybe around the 35 range. So, yeah, it's still going to be a quite gusty day on tap for us. us. So since that's happening, we actually do have a wind advisory that's in effect until 1 o'clock this afternoon, and it's for all the areas here shaded in this beige coloring. So be prepared for that. Make sure you do have both hands and keep both hands on the steering wheel for today. Also, with these winds out there, it's making it feel a whole lot colder. Definitely feeling more like the teens this morning, and that's what you need to dress for before you head out and about this morning. Again, make sure you do have all the winter gear on. The satellite and radar not picking up on a whole lot, but definitely feeling and looking like winter off to the north as you head up into New York this morning. That's where they're dealing with some snow. Still that snow coming off the lakes at this point, and we could get a couple of streamers in here this morning as well, but as the day goes on, we will see more sunshine out there, and we are going to contend with more snow coming in here as we head into the weekend. So this next system originates back off towards the west and will continue to make its way off to the east, and with that we will put down some measurable snow as we head into your Saturday and also your Sunday. So this is what it looks like on the Futurecast. This will come in about 3 waves. So as we work our way into your Saturday afternoon, that's when it'll get here. Very light in nature. This goes into motion, and then we can start to see possibly some heavier snow come in here as we head into Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. So this will be an all-day event as we head into Sunday. So Sunday will be the day that we really get that snow in here. Still watching to see how much snow we're going to be talking as we go through the weekend. Models still kind of all over the place, but I kind of trying to hone in on a range for you. I'll show you those totals in a matter of moments. But with that said, these numbers are going to change, the ones that I show you, most likely. So as we head into Sunday evening, things start to wrap up, get out of here, but we still could see a few more snow showers early Monday morning, so be prepared for that. Storm tracks, this means everything. So depending upon where this tracks, we could see more snow, we could see less snow. If it's a southern slider, we will see less snow. If it's nor'easter, where it hugs the coast a little bit more, that's where we're going to be dealing with the heavier snow. I don't know where you fall in, what you want to see, but again, we'll continue to monitor this for you. This is what we know. The Saturday afternoon into Sunday, accumulations likely, shovels for some, and it is going to be some slick travel. This is what I want to end on. This is that snow forecast that I'm leaving you with. Right now, it looks about 2 to 4 inches of snow. We'll see how that goes. Let's get a check of the traffic now with Lauren.
Thanks, Lynette. A crash just reported not far from WMAR2 News. It's right on